Welcome to another Cardano update. Like always, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts and if you want access to our daily Discord updates for only like $5 a month. Also, check out the third wave of the third wave merchandise, and I hope you enjoyed this video. So right now we have a lot going on in the short term, and I want to start with the 1 hour chart right here. I talked about this on the Discord server, by the way, but right here we have a 1-2 setup, and as you can see in the second wave move down, we actually reacted to the 0.618 support level, and that is very good. On the 1 hour RSI, we also got above the moving average right here, which is also a good sign, and I think we're actually heading in a third wave of this 1-2 setup. The target for that is at about 81 cents. Keep in mind, this is only the short term. We'll talk about the long term as well. And then after we get the third wave right here, if we do get it, if this does not turn into a much bigger ABC structure, then like I said, the target is right here. Then I'm expecting a fourth wave move down and a fifth wave move up. Now keep in mind, these 5 waves up will only confirm that this low right here is in, and that will actually complete the first wave of the third wave right here, meaning that we will need an ABC down, and then we'll get a third wave of the third wave. Now I had a target for the third wave right here on the chart. It was at about 93 cents or something. I got rid of it because there's too much, stuff on the chart. But yeah, it's expected to get in this region right here, so expect to see something like this happen very soon, and that's gonna be a 5 wave move up for the third wave. Now after that, I'm expecting a fourth wave move down, and a fifth wave move up should put us at least at the 1.414 extension of this move to the downside right here, which is at 93.5 cents. Now of course we could overextend, and I think we will, just because the 1-2 setup here, this 1-2 setup was a bit impulsive, and I think we'll just get to the 1618 or even the 200% extension in the fifth wave up. And well, this fifth wave will complete many things. It will complete this third wave right here, which is the third wave of this much bigger 1-2 setup on the chart. And the target for this, I don't have it on the chart anymore. However, I think we'll get to the targets, because I think we are already at the 1618 of this 1-2 setup, or even above that. So the third wave could theoretically be completed at any time, but yeah, it needs to have 5 waves up, and right now we don't have that. We only have this 1, 2, 3, 4 setup, which is a diagonal, and we are working on the last wave of the third wave right there. Now after we do get that, I'm expecting a fourth wave move down and a fifth wave move up, and once we get these 5 waves up, I will be able to confirm that the low right here is actually in, and that we are not going back to 50 cents, and that will also complete a 5 wave move up for the first wave of the third wave right here of the main third wave, which means that after this we need another ABC down. I'm gonna give you a support zone for this, but in case you want to get an idea of where we could go in that, let's just say, well, correction, then I'm gonna give you a support zone right now. Of course, I'm gonna get rid of it because we don't know how high the fifth wave right here will go, but let's say we top at like $1. If that's the case, then the second wave move down should put us in this region, so between 79.2 cents and 59.6 cents, but that's the 0.786, so probably between 79 cents and 67 cents, because these are my major support levels. But like I said, I'm not keeping this on the chart because we still don't know where the fifth wave will top, and if we will actually get the fifth wave right now or later. And also I have to mention that on the bull market support band, we are still waiting for the cross, and well, things are still looking good, even though we got rejected by the bull market support band multiple times. I mean, we got rejected here, and we even got rejected right here and right here. Even though that happened, we did not really get a big correction to the downside, which is very good. And right now I'm expecting higher prices, but only after we get this on the bull market support band. And well, the goal right now is to get back above the 200-day moving average. That is at 82.2 cents. Then the next goal is to get a cross, like I said, and then form a 5-wave move up. And if that happens, we should get a very big pump after we complete the ABC down. Now I know my time frame for Cardano has not been the most accurate. I know I said that the second week of June will most likely be, when the Cardano chart will get some kind of top or at least get to its previous all-time highs. I don't think that's going to happen because we don't really have time to do that, and we still do not have a 1-2 setup of the third wave on the chart, meaning that that will most likely not play out exactly like I said it will play out. However, you have to keep in mind, even if it does not play out by the second week of June, it does not mean that it will not play out at all. So please do not misunderstand me. I still believe that Bitcoin dominance will break down very, very soon, but first we still need to form that 1-2 setup on most charts. Not, Cardano is not the only chart to need that. I mean, even Chainlink needs that, even VeChain needs that. All of the altcoins that I cover on this channel kind of need that as well. And well, some of them already had the cross on the bull market support band, and as you know from the past, usually it takes a bit of time to actually get a pump after the cross. I mean, this right here is a good example. We had a cross in August, and then the big pump started in November. Now, I don't think we're gonna wait another 2 months. I mean, I can show you a couple of other examples. For example, on the Bitcoin chart right here, after we had a cross, we had a pump instantly. So maybe Bitcoin will just, get a pump after it has a cross. And speaking of that, as you can see here, we are also very close to getting one. So I think in the next couple of weeks, Bitcoin will still continue to break its all-time highs. And well, the prediction remains the exact same. Bitcoin will most likely get to at least $126,000 and then $136,000 and then probably $157,000 if I had to guess. And after we get to this target region, I think we will still have the fourth wave move down, which will act as the summer drop. And during this time, Bitcoin dominance will continue to drop, and maybe some altcoins will even go up during this time. But yeah, I mean, before we get the summer drop, we still need to get to this region. So that's why I believe that in this cycle, the summer drop will most likely happen a bit later than it did in the previous 3 cycles. However, even if that's the case, I'm still expecting the drop to happen no matter what happens. No matter if we started at the end of August or even at the beginning of September, I think we're gonna get a drop after we get to this region. And obviously the third wave right here could overextend. We could get to maybe the 2.272 extension, maybe even the 2618 extension right there. And if that's the case, the drop will most likely be even, deeper, because that's what usually happens. And also, please not forget, I'm expecting the next drop to put us back down to about $100,000 before we continue with the fifth wave move up, which should put us at least $200,000 by the end of the year. And well, the altcoin market will wake up at some point. I do not doubt that. And I think, after we form the 1-2 setup here, things are going to be extremely good. But until that happens, I mean, it's going to be boring. And well, I know, like I said, my time frame for the altcoin season has been pretty wrong. However, I'm going to say this again, it does not mean that Bitcoin dominance will not break at some point. And I think it's going to break down this year. Just when exactly, I have no idea, but it's going to break down at some point. And please do not take that as financial advice. But if you look right here, we are also about to have a cross on the bull market support band. And this is a good sign. The last time we had a cross on the bull market support band was right here. And as you can see, after that, we dropped from 59% dominance all the way down to like 54%. And of course, this was nothing, because when you zoom out, it looks like nothing. However, during this time, Cardano went up like 300%. And yeah, this is what we're waiting for again, except this time we're expecting Bitcoin dominance to drop a lot more than that. And we're expecting it to drop to the trend line right here and maybe even get to around 40% in the next couple of months. So I'm repeating it for the third time now, but if my prediction was wrong and if Cardano was not at all-time highs by the second week of June, it does not mean that the altcoin season is over and that it will never happen. It only means that it will happen a bit later than what everybody thought. And that's okay, because I mean, Bitcoin dominance is still at 64%. It's not like Bitcoin dominance dropped and Cardano did nothing. No, that's obviously not what happened. I mean, Bitcoin dominance is still up here, so things are still looking pretty fine in my opinion. Now, I want to talk about the Ethereum chart as well. This is going to be very important, and you have to understand here we just had a cross on the bull market support band, and this is extremely bullish, and it's even more bullish because we actually had a cross before we did did on the Bitcoin chart. I mean, on the Bitcoin chart, we are still waiting for one, which means that Ethereum will most likely start pumping first, and that's going to lead to a Bitcoin dominance drop, and then at some point it will start breaking down completely, and that's when we get to 40% dominance. And going back to the Cardano chart, let me actually look at the weekly chart, and let me mention something on this chart as well because it's important. You have to understand here, on the weekly we closed above the moving average on the RSI, which is a very good sign. And usually when we do this, we just go sideways for a while, like we did over here for example. Then we test the moving average and then we bounced off of it. And I mean, we did it over here, like I said, we bounced off the moving average, and that gave us a 300% pump, but that only happened after we had a cross on the bull market support band. And you could say that the exact same thing happened here as well. We had a cross on the bull market support band, then as you can see, after the cross we had this pump, then we just did nothing for a couple of weeks, and then we had a big bounce. And as you can see, during that time we actually broke above the moving average on the RSI, then we actually got below it, we got back above it, and that gave us this pump. So I think in the next couple of weeks the market will wake up. I know I've been saying that for a long time, but you know, I cannot see the future, and all I know is that at some point we will go up. I just don't know exactly when we will go up, but I know that we will, just based on what happened in the previous cycles and just based on the fact that Bitcoin dominance has to drop. So that's all I have. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts, and if you want access to our daily Discord updates for only like $5 a month. Check out the third wave of the third wave merchandise, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.